Good morning, Niagara. You're tuned to Car Connection, where the coffee's hot, the tools are ready, and the talk is always tuned up. I'm your host, Nile Motormouth Jenkins, coming to you straight from the Car Connection Workshop, where we mix a little humor, a little know how, and a whole lot of horsepower. Here, it's not just about fixing cars, it's about keeping you rolling, saving you money, and giving you the confidence to understand what's under that hood. From the classics to the commuters, the weird noises to those what the heck moments, we've got you covered. So grab your coffee if you're just sliding through the drive-through. Double check your order before you take off. Yeah, because you cannot reverse. Now I've been told this. You cannot reverse in a takeout window line. Yeah, it's internationally apparently written down that you can't do that. You have to go to the end of the line and work your way through to say, hey, I wanted cream in my coffee, or I don't want a latte. I want high test. Yeah, so lock that cup down in your cup holder. Sit back, not too far. Keep an eye on the road and the other guy. We know who that is. And join the crew this morning because this is Car Connection, your Monday through Saturday morning pit stop for stories, smarts, a few good laughs, and I'm Nile Motormouth Marbles. I think I swallowed some marbles. There's some really thick peanut butter. I'm Nile Motormouth Jenkins in the driver's seat. Just wrapping up 31 years on air, on radio stations with our Car Connection live call-in automotive program, and having a whole lot more fun here on podcasting to be able to have a little more free will and to also reach a lot more people. Always remember, Norman eats watermelon sandwiches. That's how we remember nautically north, south, east, and west. And that's what I'm enjoying is that as I'm speaking to you this morning, people from north, south, east, or west of the planet that we're spinning on can get the information instead of just localized listenership. So let's jump right in. Our topic today, if you missed yesterday's topic, which was a beginning of a series that I just started, that's costing a majority of you thousands and thousands of dollars in needless brake repairs. And my hope is at the end of the series that you come away with an aha moment. So today is Brake Systems 2.0, how to know you're due for service. So the first part of the series was Brake Systems 101. So now we're in Brake Systems 2.0, where I'm jumping in and unpacking, pulling over, drilling down vertically and horizontally into the whole idea of what does it look like to properly maintain the brakes on your automobile instead of waiting till everything's gone to hell in a handbasket and now there's nothing salvageable and you're into thousands of dollars to bring the system back up. So stick around. That's what we're going to cover this morning on the Thursday morning, 8 a.m. Motormouth drive time. So thanks for letting us into your car or wherever you're listening from. Always remember that everything we talk about lives at our website, carconnectionbusinessnetwork.com. It's the biggest drawer we have in our toolbox for you to connect. So on the homepage at carconnectionbusinessnetwork.com, that is the main display where everything is there for you. There's a lot more behind the homepage, but that is where you can find all the platforms that we are located on. YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, Stevensville on the web.ca. That's a local town where my pops lives for the last 42 years. I know a lot of businesses there, so they've put me on their website as a business profile. So you have to click on the business tab to find our profile. We also have our iHeart icon there. That is also a link for you. And last but not least, our merch store, where you might want to jump in there and grab the very first ever official Car Connection coffee mug. I'm still waiting for mine to arrive. I've ordered my own, and I'm excited about it because then when, we have a morning swiggy together, I can be having that swiggy from my own mug. And at the same time, helping someone who's going through addictions to get into one of the campuses at Total Freedom Darien Center, New York, whether they're Canadian or U.S. residents, and Sydney, Manitoba. So we'll talk about them a little bit more as well. So all our merch, when you purchase something and be a part of the Motormouth crew, counts on helping someone to get into and get to one of the addiction campuses that have been operating for almost 25 years now, with an amazing success rate for those who have made that decision. Whatever it takes, I'm willing to do whatever it takes to get that new life and break free from this horrible addiction that is just not only hurting you, but hurting the ones that you love as well. So we'll talk about that a little bit more. But first of all, Car Connections brought to you by Crystal Ridge Dream Center, serving men and women, children of all age groups, small humans, large humans, seniors, single moms, meals, love, hope, and changing lives one at a time in the Niagara region, especially during these times when community sport is crucial. Crystal Ridge Dream Center shines as a beacon of compassion and transformation. And they have over 61 volunteers that 2 years in a row now, I've been invited to the Christmas banquet and have a chance to listen and be eyeballs and ears of the testimonies from those who are dedicating their time and giving their time at Crystal Ridge Dream Center. It's tear jerking. I honestly, to hear how through their eyes, the eyes of the volunteers are so excited to see the lives of many being changed. So that is just so cool. And you can be a part of that simply by clicking on their logo. You take a look at them. They are our 2026 faith-based nonprofit organization. So when you donate over $25, you get an immediate tax receipt for that. For 31 years on radio, we have always aligned ourselves every single year with a nonprofit faith-based organization in our own backyard to make awareness, to drum up funds and donations, and do anything we can possibly do as being, seen as an on-air celebrity. I don't see myself as that. I'm not a big shot. I'm just a little shot. Just keep shooting. And so we've always done that for 31 years. So we're happy to be a part of Crystal Ridge Dream Center heading into a brand new year, 2026. So come along for the ride. City Auto Sales and Leasing, Earl and Louise Grant, they've earned the title at their place of business as being Greater Toronto Area's premier pre-owned auto store, low mileage, top quality vehicles at fair prices. I'll tell you, their vehicles look like brand spanking new. Earl is a car guy, so is Louise. They have the resources. They buy and sell no junk. They have in-house financing. You can buy with confidence, be treated with nothing less than honesty and integrity. That's City Auto Sales and Leasing. Your new family is there to meet. Once you meet Earl and Louise, you're going to go, I'm going nowhere else to buy a vehicle from now on. Rainbow Motors and Garage, Rita and Ramez Shanuda are brothers. They run that place together. Sales and service you can trust up in Scarborough, Ontario, Canada. They have a small car lot. Again, if you don't see what you're looking for specific, again, let Rita and Ramez Shanuda at Rainbow Motors know, and Earl and Louise Grant do the same thing. Just say, I don't see, this is what the vehicle I'm specifically looking for. Let them do the legwork. They have the resources. Save yourself 1,000 steps. So Rainbow Motors and Garage, sales and service you can trust. They service all years, makes, and models, including and up to commercial light commercial vehicles. And you know what? You will be looked after very, very well. So you can purchase a vehicle there at Rainbow Motors and Garage and have it serviced there. Our certified financial planning professionals, Tony Miele and Larry Tetro, have 50 years experience as fiduciaries. They work with one of the most lucrative companies when it comes to finances and portfolio management, debt retirement, estate planning, mortgages, life insurance, and critical illness insurance, and a whole lot more. You have everything available to you through Tony Miele and Larry Tetro at IG Wealth Management. I've been with Tony and Larry now for 20 plus years. I've had a mortgage with IG Wealth Management, which are mortgage departments in Winnipeg. And I'll tell you, they are a wonderful outfit to work with. And Tony and Larry are well decorated as two of the finest CFPs in all of Canada. They are very humble and they don't need any more clients, but their promise to me in '07 was that they would give you an hour of their time. And we nickname it the hour and a coffee so you can get your questions properly answered by those who have the fruit on the tree. Never take advice. This is my professor speaking. Say, Motormouth. Never take advice from someone who is not standing, their feet are not standing where you would like to be. Be respectful, but you got to go to the source where you can get the right answers. Those who have the fruit on the tree. So connect with either Tony Miele or Larry Tetro on our website. Just click on their logo and book yourself that hour and a coffee. You can go by Zoom to their office, to the boardroom, to your home, to a coffee shop, in a box, with a fox, whatever you're comfortable with, but you will get the right information. I can tell you that. I've worked with Tony and Larry now 20 plus years, and I'm not going anywhere else for anything because it's all right there for you. Take advantage of that 1 hour discovery time, one-on-one with either Tony or Larry. You're going to love them. Niagara Block at 5000 Montrose Road, Niagara Falls, building Canada since 1931 with building supplies, hardscape landscaping materials. So if you're looking to upgrade your backyard and create that amazing getaway, that oasis you've always wanted, they're your peeps to help you pick the right products, get the job done right, and they'll connect you with the contractors that can honestly put that special project, start it and finish it with nothing but top quality materials. That's Niagara Block, 5000 Montrose Road, Niagara Falls. And back to Total Freedom Darien Center, New York. That campus is open to men and women, Canadian and U.S. residents. Total Freedom Sydney, Manitoba, Canada is a men-only campus. Directors are Rick and Robin, and I'll tell you, they have a story to tell. They both suffered deeply with their own addictions, and they've walked. They're not talking the talk, they're walking the walk, and they can share that. And I'll tell you, you'll need a box of Kleenex to get through that. So anyone you know, could be you, a family friend, a neighbor, coworker, a sojourner, some of your peeps you hang with are suffering with an addiction, just guide them there. Just get them to our website. They can click on the Total Freedom logo, open the profile page, and just let them see testimony after testimony, see the campuses and the people that are there and the happiness because they've gotten and receiving their new life. So a new life awaits for you. It's where centered healing, restoration to individuals and families enslaved by cycles of addiction and destructive behavior. So there's help, and they know how to do it, but it's up to the individual that wants to be there, because a man convinced against his will is of his own opinion still. If they're not ready, you're not ready to deal with whatever that addiction is. It doesn't matter what any of us say. You got to be ready. As my prof would always say, when the student's ready, the teacher will appear. All right, let's grab a swiggy this morning so I don't forget, because I did the other day. Get your pack of 16 Crayola crayons and hand the leaf bag to your co-pilot if you've got one. If not, you're out of luck. Leaf bags folded make a great tablet to write on with your crayon and take some notes. So here's how we have a swiggy together. Whatever your favorite morning beverage is, enjoy it, lift it high. I count it down 3, 2, 1, and we just enjoy a morning swiggy together here in the Car Connection Workshop. And yours truly, Motormouth. 3, 2, 1. That's what I've been waiting for. I'm finally back on morning coffee instead of herbal tea. Although I was getting used to that, I still have it, but not in that order. Coffee, then herbal, my herbal remedy. Yeah, I got this herbal remedy book off the internet, Interschmut. And you know what? It is freaking amazing. I'll share that in another in another podcast. It is. It's like it's got all visuals, so it shows you the herbs, tells you what they do, how they work in the body, breaks it all down into how you create an elixir or a tea or cook with it to, you know, induce a happy, healthy body. It's like a shop man. I'm so excited about it because it's laid out like an amazing shop manual. So, anyways, I'll share that with you in one of the descriptions and let you know what it is. But I just got it a few days before Christmas 2025, and I'm absolutely thrilled with it. It's on my desk. It's just over there, and it is like an amazing shop manual to use what's already around us, maybe in your home, put it together, and help yourself become super healthy in a brand new year, 2026. Well, we're going to help you get healthy, super healthy with your brakes on your car. And I'm stalling out on this particular series, because my hope is that at the end of the series, the takeaway is you have an amazing, almost blacking out aha moment. Going, I didn't know that. Yeah, I didn't know. We call it the IDK moment. I didn't know, or I don't know, or isn't that interesting? Well, this morning's episode is episode number 55. So we have a lot of information for you to tap into. We have 137 officially YouTube videos, and everything that we talk about can be found on our website at carconnectionbusinessnetwork.com. That's where all the links to all the platforms, everything to connect and learn more visually. Our YouTube channel every video teaches you 5 things: what it is, where it is, how it works, how it breaks. And if you knew more basic fundamentals of the automobile and understanding of those components, how you could have saved thousands more dollars every year in needless automotive repairs. So I dumb it all down. We're not building hot rods, monster trucks, or custom cruisers, just doing basic fundamental repairs, whether it's a 15-year-old vehicle or a 25-year-old vehicle or a 5-year-old vehicle. All the fundamentals are exactly the same. They just are happening by different means. So from analog to digital to electronic, from cables to touch screens to just saying, "Hey, Siri." Uh-oh. Going to ask me now. Turn on the heater controls to 72 degrees, please. Yeah, and would you set my bathtub up for me at 6 o'clock tonight? And make sure you use the brass marine thermometer and set my bathtub at 68 degrees, please. Thank you very much. Have yourself a wonderful day. So technology has changed, but the basics never change. Tires are round and black, and they take air. Heater controls give you heat, air conditioning, defrost, so feet, center dash, defrost. Mirrors, they're there. You can adjust them with a cable, or your fingers, or now it's all done electronically. The seats, you either reach down, pull the lever, and find yourself in the back seat while you're driving upside down, and the car goes off in the rhubarb patch. That has not changed. But what has changed, like my pops now has a Lexus, pardon me. Got any Grey Poupon? The seat now, he doesn't like to let you drive his car because the seat knows him. That's what he said. My seat knows who I am. Yeah, that we don't have in the past. Although I did have a 1982 Cadillac Fleetwood Brougham, biggest piece of crap I ever had in my entire life. Yeah, I took it to the Woodstock auction. Yeah, it was rust free, was Floridian. It was a beautiful limo car, but you know what? I turned it into a car at the end. I fixed all the stuff that was Cadillac that was junk. I turned it into an Oldsmobile. But that was a 1982, and it had seat memory as well. Yeah, electronic seats and electronic heater controls as well, where you just press the touch screen, not like today's technology. But I say all that to say cars change, but they don't. They change, but they don't. The fundamental basics are still the same. And brakes, they all have brakes. Now we have fancy brakes. Yeah. Like, I wear my best clothes and gloves and whatnot when I'm fixing the fancy brakes. Yeah. And I use cotton wipes. Yeah. Egyptian cotton. No, I'm just kidding you. But just the same, technology is still producing the same whatever. Heater controls, wipers, brakes, tires, suspension, steering. Those things are all the same. So let's talk about, I want to jump into the rear brakes because what we've got now is we've got vehicles. I have a 1971 Fiat Spider tucked away, and that's going to come into the shop soon. It needs some engine work, and wrap that one up. I've tucked that one away for a very long time, and it needs some engine work, so it's time to share that with you. But it has four-wheel disc brakes. 1971. Way ahead of its time. Way ahead of its time. So we have vehicles today with four-wheel disc brakes. Pretty much everything out there, including a lot of highway trucks now, are running huge disc brakes instead of Q brakes. So things are changing, but there's still brakes. But the way the brakes apply is what has changed. And that goes for everything on the automobile, which word I was trying to say. The way and the how has changed. But the basics of those operations, what it does, has not changed. That's what I was trying to say previously, but I had a brain fart. So stay with me. That happens at all age groups, from what I'm being told. So we got rear brakes now that have incorporated what we call line lock system. So when you park the vehicle and you put it into park, you'll hear this bzzz, and the rear brakes lock up. My pop's vehicle has that. My friend Jen down the road, her in 16, Honda Accord had that. And she sold it last year. Summer before. And I had to get into that system so the vehicle would certify and do brakes all the way around. And it was quite a project because brake work had not been done. Things were seized. Yeah, I was trying to avoid her getting into thousands of dollars of repairs, and thank goodness I was able to get the calipers apart and get that electronic parking brake assembly working on both calipers. Otherwise, big puka bucks for those calipers. So I say all that to say technology has changed, folks, on brakes. And running them to the max until there's nothing left is not a good program and a good plan. And I know I might have been a bit harsh in episode 1, but here's where the rubber really meets the road. Because y'all are driving like crazy maniacs out there. You're doing, you know who you are. You're doing 20 to 30K over the posted speed limit, not the recommended speed limit or suggested speed limit. You're driving the living crap out of your vehicles and wondering why they're always costing you a ton of money. Well, you're driving them like you stole them. I see people out there and I go, you gotta be nuts to be driving like that vehicle like that every single day and then wondering why when you get it in, when the car forces you into the shop, it has a list of stuff that's needed as long as your left leg. And then you look at the tech. Hello, I've been licensed since 1988, and I still have scars. Emotional damage from being blamed for your ride having all these problems. Why does it I got to spend all this money on it? It's because your mindset is in the wrong place. They don't last if you drive the living crap out of them. Yeah, we're going to cover that in a separate episode because that is a conversation on its own. It's like in the day, watching one of my buddies at school sit there and light up the car because somebody standing on the sidewalk in front of school goes, "Oh, light it up, buddy, light it up, put a giver to it." And then there's a cop sitting right down the street, and his 1975 Trans Am got hauled away. So did he in a police car. And that was the name of that tune. And I would look at that and go, I can't afford to do a smoky burnout like that. Like I'm going to high school all day and I'm cleaning a chicken processing plant all night to pay my way. I lived on my own. I left home at 16. I lived on my own ever since. And my buddy John falls into the do a smoky burnout guy. Show us what you got. Yeah, and then things got really hairy when he got home. Yeah, he lived right around the corner from where my parents lived. Yeah. So anyways, that kind of stuff costs money. And here's the whole thing. People buy four-wheel drives and, you know who you are, your brand new Jeep and whatnot. And you go out and mud it and the whole thing. And I look at how much money you spent to get that. And I go, oh, no. If I'm going to go do that, I'm going to build a cheap vehicle, call it a bush hog, and something older where parts are available and they're not that expensive. But if you play hard, you pay hard, and that's where I'm going with this. You guys are out there and you're running 30, 40K an hour over the suggested speed limit. And, when you get caught by the popo and you get a juicy ticket, just look in your rear view mirror, just bring it down so you can see yourself and go, I got to be an idiot. I'm working how many hours a week, and I just gave away $360 and got a couple of points on top of that. My insurance is just going to love me at the next policy renewal. So there's another cha-ching. And what I'm hoping to unpack for you in 2026 is all the areas in all the decades that I've been fixing automobiles and working with people. I loved my clients on the Hamilton Mountain to pieces. I still miss them today. They were like extended family. And, they never left the shop without having another appointment for their car. And you know what? They had the best maintained cars on the Hamilton Mountain, period. None of my clients' vehicles came in on a flatbed and unless something unforeseen, catastrophic happened. Something we just could not predict. That's what we strived for. We had a less than 0.5% turnbacks, where something went wrong. We didn't have to do redos because we went the miles to bring our customers up to date, help them to understand their automobile. We even did service clinics for the ladies and had a great night with, food and delicacies and treats and working on cars and getting to understand them. You're wasting money on your vehicle. If you play hard, you pay hard. It is that simple. Coming right down to slow it down, folks. If you got to drive that speed on the road, you're burning up brakes a lot faster than I do. I just mentioned in episode 1 that I just did the brakes on the back of a vehicle I bought when I was 22 years old at 17.93%, and I still have it, 1984. Short box, limited edition, 4x4. And I just did the rear brakes on it last winter for the very first time at 169,000 original kilometers. How does that happen? You guys out there are burning up brakes in a year and right down to the nub. And if you want to check some of the brakes, I actually nicknamed the whole series all summer the Brake Nationals, as I was getting in deep on brakes on a vehicle every single month. And it was a gut job. That means there was nothing savable. In fact, the last vehicle I did is sitting out front of the workshop here. It's waiting to go for safety because I can't do that because I'm not a licensed repair shop. and I still have my licenses right up to date, but I can't write myself a safety check. And I never did, even when I had the shop. I sent vehicles out that I bought for myself to resale or to offer to my clients. The safety was not done by me. I sent it out to my friend Sam at his shop down the street to do the safety. That way I was out of the picture. If Sam found something that he wasn't happy with or I had missed, then he would tell me. And if I didn't have time, to say, just go ahead and do that and then get it done, because the car is going to be leaving. It's going to another caregiver. So it's sitting out there. That was the last of the brake nationals for 2025. Nothing savable, especially on the rear brakes. And that's the area I'm targeting right now. If hubby or yourself do not use the parking brake, I'm giving you a score of 0 out of 10 on that. Because who's made the decision in the fam to say, oh, it's an automatic, we don't need to use the emergency brake? Who called that? Like, who is saying that? And what have you got to back that up to say that it's okay to say we don't need to use the park brake, set brake, emergency brake, electronic brake? We don't need to use that because the car's an automatic. Give me a stinking break. That is dumber than a willow branch. No. Times no, divided by no, plus no equals no. That is not true. That is an absolute lie from the pit of hell, and it smells like smoke. Period. It's a myth. That is not true. In today's world, the rear brakes are so high tech, you won't even imagine until you go, it's going to cost how much? Well, you weren't using the emergency brake, and now it has to work for everything to work right. Well, I don't even use it. Listen again. Put your right finger in your index finger in your ear hole and listen this time. Everything is gone and destroyed and rotted out and not repairable. Needs all to be replaced for the rear brakes to work as they need to work as it left the factory. I can't eliminate anything for you. It won't. The system will not work. So would you like only 2 brakes or 4? So I'm between a rock and a hard place having to tell you, because somebody in the fam said, well, it's an automatic, we don't need to use the rear brake. Cha-ching. Thousands of dollars this past summer. If those jobs that we were allowed to video, and we worked together with some single moms, widowed ladies, to get them brakes back up, and shot a number of videos breaking it all down. If the work had to be done at a shop, it would have cost thousands just on the rear brakes alone. Hadn't even touched the front one. And we know they're all right down to the metal on metal. There's nothing left. So it's going to be calipers, it's going to be pads, it's going to be rotors, and anything else that's not reusable. Yeah, did you get your money out of it? That's the point I'm going to close with today. Did you get your money's worth out of it? No, you didn't. You cost yourself more money. More money than I will spend, because I don't have to. I do my own brakes every 6 months. So when I go to change over tires, April 15th, all wheels are off. I I gut it right apart. I pull it all down, inspect everything, and then I put it back together. Then I put my summer wheels on. In the fall, I do exactly the same thing. All 4 wheels are off. It's in the shop, or I do it outside if I don't have room, and I pull everything down. Calipers off, brake pads out. Everything. I pull it all apart, inspect everything, and then build it back, and then put the winter tires on. That's my system. For you, because of how you're driving, you need a full brake inspection no less than every 3 months for a year to stay ahead of the curve. What's the curve? Your driving habits. Your stop and go driving. You're heavy on the foot brake. You race the next people to the next traffic light, and then you're standing on it. And how do I know that? because I see the back end of your car rise and the nose of the car going down. It's called inertia. If you took physics class, it's inertia. And that also tells me that the rear brakes are way out of adjustment, because the rear brakes should pull the car back so it kinds of squats like a dog, taking the weight off the front brakes. So you're not burning out the front brakes prematurely, because that's what's happening out there. Your rear brakes aren't working properly because somebody's convinced you don't use the parking brake, set brake, electronic brake. Yeah. And you don't do any services. None. Zero. You take it to the limit. I think there's a song about that, isn't there? It is so true. Well, I'm taking it to the limit. This one sentence that I've heard for so many years. Oh, I'm going to get my money's worth out of that. Mm-hmm. Yep. You sure did. Now it's going to cost you. It could have cost you a whole lot less, but you got your money's worth. You took it right to the limit. Now there's nothing left to save. That's what I'm trying to tell you here in Brake Systems 2.0. We got to get you to change your driving habits. And that goes for all age groups. 20-somethings all the way up. Doesn't matter. I even see it in my own pops, and I actually said, Pops, you got to slow down. You got to slow down, because you're standing on it. I said, you're burning your brakes out like crazy. And then he'll say, well, I had to do brakes on my car again for a second time. That's 2 brake jobs in a year. I go, slow down. What's the hurry? What's the hurry? If you got to go to bed earlier to get up earlier so that you can change your drive time and your driving habits, do you know how much money you're going to save? Yeah, you got to sign up for the 30-day fuel savings challenge. Another area where, you know what? A lot of you are going to get like if you follow it and you follow what I'm going to tell you to do for 30 days, and then you're going to make some change stuff, and then do another test for 30 days, you're going to like me, and I'll be on your top drawer, your Christmas gift giving list, because you're going to give, some of you are going to get a raise of up to $2,000 a year. Is your boss going to tap you on the shoulder in the first quarter, Q1, and say, hey, because I like you, I'm going to give you a $2,000 increase in your pay this year? Yippee! No, you can give yourself that just by the 30-day fuel savings challenge and changing your driving habits and not burning out a set of brakes in 12 months where there's nothing left. I'm surprised even some people out there can make it 12 months the way I see them drive, because I do run into, I'm in a small town, and I get to know vehicles that I see that are common to the town, so I know they must live in town. And the same thing, hot rodding from one traffic light to the next one. The vehicle's practically standing on its nose doing a pirouette, excluding the tutu, and you're doing that all day, every day, day in, day out. And you're getting up in the morning and you're trading time for money, time for money, time for money, time for money, day in, day out, and you're blowing money right out the door on repairing your automobile. And one of the number one areas is brake service 2.0. You got to stop that habit, not using the rear brakes. The rear disc brakes require that the emergency brake, park brake, set brake, whatever terminology your vehicle uses, I just call it the emergency brake. Yeah, it has to work. It's important that it works to keep the rear brakes adjusted and free and moving and not seizing up. And when they don't, it's a gut job to fix it. When it finally comes in where they're not working, the rear brakes aren't working at all anymore, it's a gut job and it's expensive. Yeah, there's no 4-for-1 brake pads, emergency brake cables, etc. programs out there. The parts are getting more and more expensive, and we're having to hunt parts down a lot because, since the former campaign took out a lot of businesses and a lot of production and employees, getting auto parts has been like pulling teeth sometimes. it can almost be an all-day job to try and find the parts to get the car back out on the road in a decent amount of time. So if your tech is taking a bit of time to get stuff done, cut them some slack, because it's a hunt, not for Red October. It's a hunt a lot of times to find and resource the parts that they're just not readily available all the time anymore. We really have to hunt down the parts and source them and get them. Maybe some coming from here, some from there, some from over there. It's crazy, but it's true. So today's brake systems 2.0 is your rear brakes matter. Yes, they do. 100%. Because the rear brakes need to work to pull the vehicle back, to kind of squat like a dog, to take the pressure off the front brakes. Front brakes do about between 60 and 70% of the stopping already without the rear brakes working. When the rear brakes aren't working properly because the emergency brake's not being used every single day, if you go out to the front of the Car Connection workshop right now and look in any window of any automobile sitting there, you will see that the park brake is set. If you followed me to a local supermarket I'm going there just to grab a few goods and scoot back to the office, you will see when you look through the window, my park brake is on. Now, here's where you should say, why is that? Why do you always put the park brake on? Because I don't want the extra expenses of having to gut everything in the rear wheels so that I'm not overheating the front brakes and warping the rotors and burning the pads out all the time. Because that's exactly what happens. So fellas or fellettes, whoever you are that has that mindset, it's an automatic, I don't need to use the parking brake. Yes, you do. 100%. Not when you feel like it every time you park the car. The only time I will not, or I shouldn't say never, will not set my park brake is in the winter months. If I've been driving through slushy roads all day, it can freeze up if I put it on. Which means I go to take it off, it doesn't release. So I'll just leave it off hopefully the next day is a sunny day and things will thaw out underneath. And then it's safe to do so. That's the only time I will not use the parking brake. If I go to the store, I'm in the store for 5 minutes, parking brake goes on. If I'm going to another store or another location or visiting a client, potential client, when I park there, my parking brake goes on. Again, you should be saying, why is that? It all comes down to, I know what it costs to change all those components. I know the amount of labor it takes to do that. And I want to avoid that as much as possible and limit the amount of replacement components I need to have when the rear brakes are ready at the next inspection. Something needs to be replaced. I don't want to be getting into all that labor and all the parts to boot, because you know what? Even though I can do the labor, parts, you still got to buy them. And there's no deals out there anymore. No deals whatsoever. Parts are at a premium now, even for me, yours truly, Motormouth. They're at a premium. That's why if you watch the video on the Fire Chicken, 1984 Fire Chicken that we're doing the rear brakes on right now, I'm rebuilding the rear disc brake calipers because my cost on them's $363 each. That's not with tax. So times 2 plus tax. That's buka bucks. I found the kits online through a company that I've known for years, Dorman. The rebuild kit's $29. I bought 2 plus an extra in case I mess something up. But still, that's a far cry. That's like less than $100 and my labor. And we were taught how to do that at Mohawk College in the MVM department. That was part of our shop time, rebuild a caliper. So I'm going to pull over and park and leave that there. And there's going to be another episode where we really drill down on all 4 wheels and how we can better combat the thousands of dollars and the mindset that I'm going to drive it until I get my money's worth out of it. That's breaking the bank. And if you follow my lead on how to take care of the brake system alone, that's going to save you a minimum of another $1,000 a year. So if you do the fuel savings challenge and save yourself up to $2,000 in fuel savings, and then I save you another $1,000 minimum on for your brake service and replacement, you're at already $3,000. You gonna get a $3,000 raise this year? Probably not most of you. I know I'm not, and that's okay. No, I think if your boss came to you and said, "Hey, will you work next week for free?" What kind of look would you give to your boss? Like, are you? Did you just say for free? Are you out of your mind? Yeah. Well, that's what I'm saying to you. Is your driving habits are costing y'all a ton of money, and you got to be out of your mind for doing it because you're trading time for money every single day, running the highways, working hard. You know who you are: single moms, single dads, families. You're working hard for your money, trading time for money, away from your family and everything. And you know what? Your automobile can be a money-making genius. Because when it's paid for, and I don't care how old it is, doesn't matter to me. I don't need to be buying a vehicle to impress people I don't even know and I don't even like. I am so far out of that league, let me tell you. But I drive decent vehicles, and people often will say, "What year is that?" When I go, 07. That's an 07? Really? That's what I want them to say. Because I don't just talk the talk, I walk the walk, and you are welcome to check me on that, fact check me on that anytime you like. Anytime you like. Not one bolt left undone, not one wire not put back in place, nothing. I work with precision and do the job right the first time and do it well every single time. And I do a very good brake job, I might add. I think I'm going to take that one. I have never had a brake job in all my 4 decades of being a licensed mechanic come back on me. Not one time. I don't do fudge factor 10 brake jobs, period. We do it right, and we do it well, and then I'll tell you how you're going to take care of the next set of brakes that I just installed. So that's what I'm sharing with you. I'm sharing with you facts that will save you and put money back in your wallet, not take it. But you got to do your part. That's right. You got to do your part. So if you're saving money on your repairs, you know what that means? 2 things. You have the money to service that vehicle and keep it going and work hard to get to the 600,000 kilometer club. Yeah, I'm almost at 400 on the 07 FJ, so I'm going to celebrate the 400,000 kilometer club, but I'm pushing for 600K, and I'll get there. I know for certain I will get there. I've done it before. I put at least one car I owned long enough to put 500,000 miles on it. And when I sold it, the next caregiver was very happy to get that vehicle. It was well maintained, well loved, and cared for. And I think they made it to 800,000 miles. Yeah, it was 1972. Toyota Celica. Yeah, a custom. I put it together custom. I still have a picture of it. I really like that car. I turned it into a miniature Trans Am with a hood scoop and everything. It was really so cool. Anyhow, I digress. But if I can do it, you can do it. And my hope is your takeaway from our podcast is that you're taking notes, you're listening, you're re-listening, you're sharing us with your family, your friends, your community of peeps, because all of you can save a ton of money and give yourself a decent raise and have money left over to really take care of that car, regardless of how old it is and how much mileage. That is just the word salad spin by the sales guys. Not to disrespect them, but you know what? They need to feed their families too. So, and I totally understand they got to move sheet metal and rubber to do that, sell another vehicle. But you know what? in this day and age, in the economic climate we're in, the best vehicle, if you were to talk to Tony Miele or Larry Tetro, our certified financial planning professionals, are going to tell you the best vehicle in your driveway right now is the one that's paid for. Every time you turn the key, if you service that vehicle and take care of it and love on it, you can keep it as long as you want. And when you start that vehicle up, it's making you money. Yes, it is. It's making you money. So what's it worth? I don't care if it's worth like the 2008 Nissan Rogue sitting out front is worth $993 on a trade-in today. That's today's number. What's it worth? Thing runs on farts in a jar if you don't drive the stink out of it. And it's great on fuel economy, rides nice. Yeah, it's got some pitfalls. It's got a list of pattern failure stuff that I'm already aware of. But I could take that to 600,000 K. I know I could, following my own standard operating procedures. So till next time, stick around for part 3. That'll be brake systems advanced. How to know you're due for service. That's going to be part 3. Brake systems advanced. That's where we bring it all together. And I would highly recommend you visit our website at carconnectionbusinessnetwork.com. That's where all things are available to you there in one place. Everything we talk about, you'll find there. You'll find all our links so you can jump in our YouTube channel and subscribe and be a part of that channel, because there's tons of information in there on everything I just talked about. And you can watch it. You can watch the episodes. We try very carefully now to keep our episodes around 15 minutes, so you can watch a 15-minute segment, and then you can watch part 2, part 3, part 4. So that way you can take it all in instead of, I don't have the time to sit down and watch a YouTube channel for 52 minutes. I can't do it all at once. So I have to come back to it. So we decided to be more conscious of your time and to make sure that we do 15-minute segments, keep it around 15 so you can watch the whole segment and come back for episode 2, 3, or 4, just like this. I'm way over time today, but we will get back on track. But these are heavy-duty segments where you've got to really understand all the pieces and parts that I'm talking about and trying to teach you, because there's money in the bank. There's money to put back in the bank for you, and I'd like to see you get there, but you have to buy in. You have to be all in and say, I didn't know that. I got to change that immediately. Yeah, because you're all working hard. We all are. Trading time for money, trading time away from our families, time with our families and our children, for what? As my Ukrainian friend used to always say, for cash pepita. And I'd say, Louis, what's pepita? Paper. He says, that's what we call money. Pepita. Paper. He says, we work like animals in a field for paper. That really changed my mindset. That was about 30 plus years ago. Cash pepita. He says, we got to be stupid. We take time away from our families to go and chase paper. Yeah. There is some really good thought in that. Yeah. Peace of mind. You cannot put a price on peace of mind. So until next morning, we'll see you the following morning at 8 a.m. for Motormouth Morning Drive. Come and join us again. I hope you're getting something out of this. Leave me some comments. I'll try and get these programs squeezed back. Or are you happy with the program being this amount of time, at just a little under an hour? Or would you rather me stick with a 30-minute segment? Because we got to get everything in there. I got to make sure we get our program partners in there and give them a pitch, because they're backing us. You know, nobody's throwing cash at us or anything. And we're starting from scratch on podcast. And I hope that we're reaching every corner of the earth. Share us with your family, your friends, and be a part of our Motormouth community. And we'll see you tomorrow morning for another Motormouth Morning Drive. Keep it under 100. Happy, healthy motoring. Put the coffee on. think we're going to come to your house.